All right, guys, we were going through people that would be exempt from fulfilling the commandment or mitzvah of saying the Shema. This Mishnah, which is going to be in Maseches Brachos, 3rd chapter, and is the 3rd Mishnah in the Gemara, is going to be talking about another person who is going to be exempt. Let's jump into it. A Baal Keri is a person who is tameh, or spiritually impure for certain reasons, and may not take part of truma or kudshim. Truma and kudshim are different types of foods that, I guess, I don't want to say that was served, but basically that were served in the Holy Temple, the Beis HaMikdash, and Kohanim would be able to eat them. Now, if a Kohen was a Baal Keri and was spiritually impure, he would not be allowed to eat those holy foods until he immerses in a mikvah, the cleansing waters, we can call it a mikvah, and waits until nightfall. Under the Torah law, this is the extent of the restrictions placed upon him. Nevertheless, Ezra the scribe decreed that a Baal Keri must also refrain from articulating words of Torah and prayer until he immerses. In connection with this, our Mishnah discusses how a Baal Keri recites the Shema and the various blessings over food. Again, the previous Mishnayos were talking about other people that were not able to say Shema, meaning that they had just lost a loved one and it was before the burial and they were right in the funeral, but they were still saying those words of comfort, or they weren't in the back row, but they were in the front row. All these different people that we had, different parts of when it came to women or servants or children, different things along those lines. And now we're saying, another person is this person, a Baal Keri. But what we just added is not only can they not say Shema, which was the biblical enactment, so to speak, but also rabbinically speaking, by Ezra the scribe, said you're not also allowed to make the blessings over foods until you go into those cleansing waters of the mikvah. Here we go. That was all the preface. Baal Keri, Meharher Belibo. When the time arrives to recite the morning or evening Shema, a Baal Keri is to contemplate, think about the words of the Shema in his heart rather than say them aloud. Although Ezra's decree prevents a Baal Keri from actually articulating the words, the sages still require him to recite the text in his thoughts. Whether one can actually fulfill his obligation in this manner is an issue discussed by the Gemara below. Ve'eino mevarech, and even in his heart, he need not recite the attendant blessings. Lo lefaneha velo leachareha, neither the blessings that precede the Shema nor those that follow it. Since the blessings before and after the Shema are of rabbinic origin, the sages did not require the Baal Keri to mentally recite them, says Rashi. The obligation to recite the Shema itself, however, is of biblical origin. Hence, the Baal Keri was required to at least recite these words mentally. Say it in your mind, but not through your mouth. It's fascinating. Ve'al hamazon, now with regard to food, mevarech la'acharav, he is to recite in his heart those blessings that follow a meal. Again, not verbalize it, just have it in your mind. But only the ones that come after the meal. Ve'eno mevarech lefanav, but he is not to recite those blessings that precede the meal, for a similar reason. The recital of Birkas HaMazon is biblically mandated, whereas blessings before consuming food are of rabbinic origin. Thus, the Baal Keri was required to mentally recite only the former, meaning only things that come after the food, saying, God, thank you so much for this delicious sandwich that I just ate, not that I'm about to eat. Okay, we understand. However, a dissenting Tana, right? Rabbi Yehuda said, Mevarech lifneihem ule achareihem. He recites the blessings that both precede and follow the Shema and a meal. 41. Rabbi Yehuda's position is explained by the Gemara below. Okay, and that is the conclusion of this Mishnah. Something that I'm connecting with regarding this is, we really want to connect with Hashem. There's all these different things that we get to do. There's 613 different ways to establish and develop that relationship between us and Hashem, between us and other people, and between us and ourselves at the highest level. It's called mitzvah ben Adam le makom, ben Adam le chavero, and mitzvah ben Adam le atzmo, between him and Hashem, between him and his friends, and him and himself. And so we want to develop that relationship. We want to do these things. We want to say Shema. We want to say thank you for the food. And oh my goodness, I'm so full. And thank you so much for nourishing me and keeping me healthy. We want to say those things, but there are times where we're not able to, for whatever the circumstances. And that's hard to have that barrier. But those barriers are put there for a reason. Sometimes it wouldn't be healthy for us to go into a situation or to work on developing that relationship in this way, because hey, for whatever the circumstances, and so that's hard. The beautiful thing about this is that yes, sometimes my mind goes to Pesach Sheni. During Passover, we all wanted to go and bring our offering. But there were people, similar to the Baal Keri, that were tameh, meaning spiritually impure for certain reasons. One of the explanations is that they had just buried a body or carried the bones of Yosef HaTzadik. And for that reason, they were not able to participate by bringing their offering during Passover. And they said the famous words, Lama Nigora, why should we miss out? And they said, you're right. You're not going to be able to participate right now because of the circumstance, and we have to honor that. And that's a barrier, not just because you did something, like you did a mitzvah. Mitzvah's hames, you did a very important mitzvah by taking care of a dead body. My goodness. That being said, you're not able to do it, and that's okay. Don't beat yourself up. That's okay. The Lama Nigor, why should we miss out? Because of that, yearning and willingness and just drive, we're actually going to reveal. Hashem revealed Pesach Sheni, Passover 2.0, a second chance, 30 days later. And anybody who was tameh for things like that was able to have a second chance and bring it at that time. That's a beautiful thing. So the reason why I'm thinking about that is over here, you're also not able to participate in this way. However, thank God you're able to do it to a degree, whatever that looks like. For this specifically, you're able to not say the words, but actually think it. And so I want to take these concepts and kind of bring them over to other types of relationships between us and other people. Sometimes we want to say something. Sometimes we want to do something, for another person. And timing's not right? But we really want to do it for them right now. It's not right. Right now, for whatever the circumstances, maybe it's something that I did, maybe it's something that they did, maybe it's something that other people did, maybe it's something, who knows? There are so many different circumstances and possibilities, but for whatever reason, there's a barrier, and we got to respect that. That's hard. That's hard. Because like, no, let me just go for it. No, whoa, let's respect the barriers. You know what I mean? Maybe we could do it at a later time, right? Like when he immersed in the mikvah, he'd be able to do it later at that time. Or maybe there's a different way that we could do it, right? I'm not going to say it with my words, but maybe I can like mentally say it over here. Maybe, maybe I can write a letter. Maybe I can do this. Whatever it is, I want the theme from this, at least for me, is to respect the boundaries. There are times that, yes, you can do and do and do, but there are times where we can't. At least not in that way. And even times that we can, but it has to be at a later time. So God willing, we'll respect those boundaries, whatever they look like, and continue to develop the relationships in a healthy way. See you guys soon.